Number 10. Charity pledges. The infamous charity pledges. From her initial divorce settlement, Amber Heard was given $7 million. She pledged in court to give the money entirely towards charity, with a few million to a children's hospital in Los Angeles and the rest to a labor rights group. But now that a few years have passed and we're looking more closely at the receipts from this claim, we find out that Amber has donated barely anything to the charity. The labor union testified that they never received the full $3.5 million that it was promised, and that about half of the donations that it received in Heard's name came from Elon Musk, who dated Amber after her and Johnny broke up. Amber deflected by stating on the stand that she still planned to donate all the money she promised, but that the defamation suit, which demands up to $50 million in damages, got in the way. Quote, "I still fully intend on honoring all of my pledges. I would love him to stop suing me so I can." Interestingly, there are about 4 years between Amber and Johnny divorcing and the Sun libel trial, of which she was not being sued for. Number 9. The makeup palette. Previously, in the opening statement back in April, while discussing how she used to cover her bruises from Depp hitting her multiple times, Amber's attorney held up a Milani Cosmetics color correcting makeup palette. She stated that Amber had used this makeup palette to hide her bruises after the onslaught delivery by Johnny to make sure that no one discovered her bruises and lesions. But in a now viral TikTok video, Milani Cosmetics themselves refuted this whole statement, saying that their color correcting palette came out in 2017. A full year after Amber had gotten a restraining order against Johnny. Johnny Depp supporters online used the issue to allege that Amber was lying about actually being hurt by Johnny during their relationship. But now that Amber is back on the stand, she was shown the same Milani Cosmetics palette and asked if she used it. She said she used something similar to it. Quote, "This is what I was talking about as a color correction palette, as a color correction kit. This is not, obviously, the exact one I used to carry, but I used to carry something like this with me all the time." Amber told the court that the makeup she did use she referred to as her bruise kit. She also explained that she would ice her injuries to reduce swelling, apply cream, and then put the makeup on. Quote, "The idea is that you want to counteract whatever color you're working with on the bruise. So, first day of bruising, well, the immediate is red. The red is what shows up right away. So you want to go with the opposite on the color wheel by dabbing a bit of green or something to counteract the red." While the attorney for Amber previously insinuated that the Milani Cosmetics palette was the one that Amber specifically had used, once the makeup brand refuted the claim, it was changed to one like this. Number 8. Sharing embarrassing photos of Johnny. During her testimony yesterday, Amber was being cross-examined and asked about whether she sent a photo to a friend of Depp sleeping after allegedly having consumed substances. Johnny's attorney characterized the photo of Depp asleep with ice cream spilled on him as embarrassing, and asked whether Amber had sent it to anyone. Amber stated that she didn't think so. But very quickly, the attorney showed a screenshot of a text message that Amber sent to her best friend. The message attached to the picture reads, quote, "This is what I'm dealing with." When she was shown the text messages between her and her friend of the photo of Johnny debilitated with the caption, "This is what I'm dealing with," Amber's attorney asked, quote, "And this is you supporting Mr. Depp?" Amber rebutted, stating, quote, "This is me getting support from my best friend. I also need support." Number 7. Never hitting Johnny Depp. At the beginning of the trials, Amber continually pressed the alleged fact that she never hit Johnny. She said that she was solely the victim to his harm and that she never raised a finger against him. We found that not to be true because the instance with the stairs became apparent. During one of their fights, Amber ran up the stairs with her sister. Allegedly, Johnny raised his hand to her sister, who got between the couple, and Amber hit Johnny to defend her. So the story changed from Amber has never hit Johnny to Amber has hit Johnny once in defense of her sister, who was clearly in a position of danger. According to Amber, her panic and fear for her sister came from the rumor she heard that Johnny had pushed his ex-girlfriend, Kate Moss, down the stairs during one of the fights back in the 90s. The rumor is absolutely not corroborated and could push the court in the favor of Johnny from Amber. Number 6. Hit Johnny Depp once. Okay, so the story changed from Amber has never hit Johnny to now Amber has only hit him once in defense of her sister. But that may not be entirely true because Amber was asked about a now viral audio clip recording of her on the phone with Johnny. In the clip, she states, quote, "I was hitting you. I was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched. You're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you." After she was asked about the clip, Amber changed her story once again to now admitting that she had hit him, but that it was in a provocative manner during a moment of intimacy. She said that Depp hit her in bed, and so she hit him back reactively. On the stand, she states, quote, "I hit his arms, his body as he was trying to prevent me from closing the door. I knew what he would do to me when he got to the other side. So now the story has gone from never hitting Johnny to only hitting him once to now twice. Number 5. Adjusting her timeline. While on the witness stand on Monday, Amber spent the first few minutes changing her story and adjusting her testimony, telling the court that the alleged harm from Johnny began earlier than she previously thought. Quote, "I'm embarrassed to say I think I would have liked to believe that the period of time in which I fell in love with Johnny, in which we fell in love and he was sober and he wasn't violent to me, lasted longer than it did." She said following a review of therapy notes, she recalled earlier moments of alleged harm that dated back as early as 2012 rather than her previously stated 2013. When asked by her attorney why she didn't recall these moments, Amber stated, quote, "That's not how my memory works." Number 4. Amber not being a fan. While up on the stand, Amber spent some time describing her early days in a relationship with Johnny. She also describes what she thought of him before she got to know him. Quote, "I knew who he was. I wasn't familiar, I wasn't a fan of his work. I wasn't familiar with him." But then some fans found a decades-old interview with Amber in which she was asked whether she was a fan of Johnny's growing up. The younger Amber says, quote, "I mean, who isn't a fan of Johnny's? That's a given. He's been a cultural icon and talented actor since I can remember." Number 3. Amber leaked evidence to TMZ. Previous testimony from the original 2016 divorce proceedings from Amber are currently under scrutiny as well. Allegedly, she may have slipped up while on the stand originally. During Heard's cross-examination in Virginia's Fairfax County Circuit Court on Tuesday, May 17th, the Aquaman star was shown footage of her 2016 deposition in which she discussed her divorce from Depp. She was heard in the video admitting that TMZ had been alerted about their divorce as well as her filing for a domestic violence restraining order against Depp, before awkwardly covering her face with her hands. Also at the original trial, Amber stated, quote, "I wanted to tell Johnny, or have him told by Jerry," the Depp's former bodyguard, "or someone who knew him or was close to him. Basically, I didn't want him to find out online. I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which had been alerted." Depp's lawyers then accused her of leaking the information to the press well before she officially told Johnny that she wanted a divorce. Amber fumbled through her responses, saying that she wasn't sure and that it wasn't her area of expertise. Number 2. Amber's broken nose. And now another time when Amber allegedly got hit by Johnny and a day later appeared on the James Corden show looking absolutely flawless. Johnny Depp's legal team grilled Amber Heard over photos of her looking fresh-faced during public appearances after allegedly being beaten up by Depp. The court was shown a clip of Amber Heard appearing on The Late Late Show with James Corden in December 2015 with no visible marks or bruises on her face. She previously told the court in her defamation trial that her makeup team had to work around the wounds and apply, quote, "super heavy red matte lipstick to hide her bloodied lip." While I don't doubt the power of makeup, it's hard to hide visible swelling. Number 1. Amber has never hit anyone. While Amber Heard had previously claimed that she never hurt anyone before her relationship with Johnny, which required her to fight back to escape further harm, and in an act of self-defense, Amber's past shows a very different story. All the way back in 2009, she was actually arrested and charged with hitting her girlfriend at the time, Tasia Van Reed. In the end though, charges were dropped, but this isn't where the lie comes in. The couple tried to claim that the only reason Heard was arrested was because the arresting police officer had realized that they were partners, not friends, and that the arrest motive was homophobia and prejudice. It was later found out that the officer who had arrested Heard was in fact part of the LGBTQ community herself. Was actually an advocate and person who fought for equal rights. The officer spoke out after this entire ordeal, saying that despite these claims against her, she arrested Amber because a violent fight occurred and that she was the one who witnessed it in the first place. So Amber directly lied under oath by claiming she was non-violent despite having a history of hitting her girlfriend in the past. No matter how this court case ends, it will definitely finish the toxic saga between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Number 10. Mildred Pierce. During Amber's testimony, she begins speaking emotionally about the times that Johnny Depp allegedly hit her. At one point in her speech, Amber said that Johnny slapped her and then said, quote, "He'd rather cut off his hand." That line in particular is directly out of the movie Mildred Pierce after she slaps another character named Vita. Many people believe that this was a line stolen directly from the 1945 film, a drama about a woman whose husband leaves her for another woman. In this film, there's a scene where Mildred, the mother of 2 daughters, slaps one of her daughter in the heat of the moment after the daughter is angry that Mildred degraded their social status by not remarrying. After she slaps her daughter, Mildred immediately apologizes and states, quote, "I'm so sorry I did that, I'd rather cut off my hand." The lines are definitely similar, but honestly, I can see this one being kind of a stretch given how minuscule and off the cuff it was. Number 9. Notting Hill. Also during Amber's testimony, she spoke about the first time she had met Johnny Depp on the set of their movie. She also describes how the two would fall in love with each other. During this time, Johnny was sober, and to replace his habitual alcohol intake, he drank tea instead. Tons and tons of tea. If you're listening to the trial, the amount of times that she mentions how much he loves tea may have struck you as odd. Many on the internet pointed the similarity to the romantic comedy Notting Hill. It's similar to a line that Julia Roberts says to Hugh Grant about, quote, he drinks lots of tea. Others think the way that she seemed to mimic Julia Roberts in the tea scene may have been done so to make her appear more lovable and believable. Number 8, I am a killer. Also during her testimony, Amber spoke about how Johnny was around another woman and they were all under the influence of different substances at the time. Amber claims that the woman laid her head on Amber's shoulder and it, for some reason, set Johnny off. She went on to allege that Johnny then grabbed this woman's wrist, twisted it, and pulled her towards him. Amber then claims that he said, quote, do you know how many pounds of pressure it takes to break a human wrist? She goes on to say that Johnny held the woman and she was frozen in his grip. Many people have claimed that this line that she claims that he said is actually a line directly from the Netflix series I Am a Killer. The person in the scene says, quote, do you know how much it takes to break a human hand? The series in question documents the life of a woman with a life sentence in prison for taking the life of her husband in extremely brutal and gruesome ways after he broke her hands. Number 7, Shrek 2. Listen, I know this one is definitely most likely total crap, sue me. It's a bit on the satire side, but we all know Reddit. They would psychoanalyze a goldfish if they could. This moment in the trial was kind of similar to a moment in the DreamWorks movie Shrek 2. In the movie itself, Prince Charming is looking around a destroyed room and saying, whoa, what happened here? In a TikTok clip that was posted to Reddit, it quickly clips to Amber, who says the exact same thing in almost the exact same way that Prince Charming does. Listen, if you ask my opinion, there's no way she stole from Shrek 2, let's be real here. It is a little funny though. Number 6, True Detective. This moment is very similar to the one mentioned before where she seemed to quote the series I Am a Killer. It's in reference to the part in Amber's testimony where she begins telling the story of when Johnny Depp became aggressive while they were on a flight. Amber claimed that Johnny got into an altercation with a flight attendant, grabbed her wrist, slammed it down, and said something similar to both True Detective and I Am a Killer about how it only takes a few pounds of pressure to break her wrist. One Twitter user was very quick to point out the similarities between this testimony piece and a scene in the show True Detective, particularly in season 1 when one character states a line extremely similar to the one in I Am a Killer and to Amber's allegations. While I tend to be critical and hesitant towards this whole debacle in general, I do think it's a little odd that if Johnny harmed a flight attendant, why hasn't she spoken out at all, or even stated anything as a witness? I mean, if he's slamming wrists, there's a whole flight of people to corroborate that kind of situation. Number 5, the article. This is something that wasn't stolen from a movie or a book, but it is something that people have pointed out as being blatantly untruthful and in direct contrast to statements that she's made previously in court. Amber claimed during her testimony that prior to her relationship with Johnny, she wasn't a fan of his nor a fan of his art. But fans of Johnny's found an article from years ago. Her claim was directly seen as false. In the article itself, Amber claimed that when she was a teenager, she had photos of Johnny all over her room. A friend of hers had told the Inquirer that Johnny was basically Amber's first love. Quote, when she was a teenager, Amber had already decided to become an actress, and she had pictures of Johnny all over her room. So it's no surprise they fell in love while working together. Amber usually gets what she sets her mind to. Creepy. Number 4, Alpha Dog. In our number 4 spot is the movie Alpha Dog. This one is more of a theory in relation to the trial rather than a direct movie quote, but it's definitely worth noting for a full scope of what is exactly going down. So we have all heard the story of the poo on the bed at this point. If you haven't, it's basically alleged that Amber had left feces on Johnny's bed. While she claims it was her dogs that did so, it's pretty apparent that it belonged to a human. There's a theory that this entire move was a scene from the film Alpha Dog, a movie that Amber herself was in. In the scene, one of the characters, who is under the influence, defecates on his enemy's rug in revenge. It's certainly extremely cinematic if it is a movie reference. Number 3, Maid. Someone on Twitter pointed out a similarity in Amber's testimony to Maid, when Amber was detailing an alleged instance where Johnny Depp threw a glass at Amber, then punched a wall, and then punched a wall right next to Amber. According to the people who had seen the Netflix show, which is about a woman who is fleeing a horrible relationship to provide a better life for her children, it is said that this scene is actually word for word in the show. While it's definitely possible that real life can absolutely align with television, I think a lot of people are more suspicious than they normally would be given all the examples of Amber seemingly quoting things left, right, and center. Number 2, White Chicks. Next up is the comedy white chicks. During Amber's first day of testimony, she told a horrifying story where she alleged that she had to call Johnny's sister to help remove him from their home. But as they were all driving in the car, Johnny allegedly started howling out the window, grabs Boo, his dog, a teacup Yorkie, and holds Boo out the window of the moving car. He's howling like an animal while holding their dog out of the car. But people seem to think that this scene was taken straight out of the comedy movie White Chicks. In the movie scene, a teacup Yorkie flies out of the window of a moving vehicle and is only being held onto by a leash. But there's also an Instagram photo that has since surfaced of Amber Heard letting the dog out of the car window. I honestly think this one's definitely a stretch, but you know, what do I know, I'm just some rando on the internet. Number 1, the talented Mr. Ripley. I saved this one for last because it seems to be the most credible moment of Amber actually referencing a movie. It is said during Amber Heard's opening statements when she seemed to directly quote the film wherein a man arrives, showers people with gifts, and then seemingly disappears. The quote people are referencing states, quote, "The thing with Dickie, it's like the sun shines on you and it's glorious, and then he forgets you and it's very, very cold. When you have his attention, you feel like you're the only person in the world. That's why everybody loves him so much." Now, Amber didn't directly say these words exactly, but she does say something eerily similar. When describing her attraction towards Johnny, she talks about how when he was with her, Johnny had a warm glow about him, showered her with gifts, and made her feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. They would be in this bubble for 4 to 5 days at a time before it would suddenly disappear and this monster would take its place.
Number 10. Amber pleading with Johnny not to call her a liar. While on the stand to give her account of what went down in the obviously extremely toxic relationship, Amber Heard began breaking down when asked about an audio recording of an argument between her and Johnny, which was then played to court. In response, Heard stated, "I don't want to call myself a victim. I don't like to think of myself as a victim. And I don't want him to think I'm attacking him or blaming him. I'm pointing out that I didn't cooperate with the police, that I didn't want to get him in trouble, that I didn't want him to think I'm attacking him or blaming him." At this point, by the way, she is full on sobbing in court while speaking, but nevertheless, she continues, "I don't want anything from him, just don't call me a liar. It's all I said, just don't call me a liar. Just don't say this isn't real because I'm the walking proof of it." Number 9. Deciding to divorce Johnny. On Monday, Amber started to break down on the stand as she was detailing her decision to divorce Johnny Depp after a very short time as a married couple. Amber says that it was a fight they had in May 2016 that finally made her realize that her marriage was over. She said that they had spent the previous month apart after having another argument when Depp was late to her 30th birthday. Johnny, when he was on the stand, testified about leaving the apartment they shared in downtown LA after Amber's birthday party and alleged that his security guard later found feces in their bed, which Johnny suspects Amber or her friends of planting. When they finally decided to see each other in person after the poop incident, Johnny's mother had just passed and Heard thought he would want comfort. Instead, she said he confronted her about the poop, which she said she believed was dog poop. Amber then stated that Johnny threw a phone in her face during the fight and bruised her face. She said when that happened, she realized, "I have to leave him. I had worked so hard to try and make this relationship work. I went to therapy, I went to Al-Anon, I got help, I read books, I did everything I could possibly do and it didn't work. I was conflicted." She then began to appear emotional and started crying as she recounted, "So I made the decision to file for divorce. It was hard because I loved Johnny so much. I was so scared it was gonna end really badly for me. I believe he would have taken it too far and I wouldn't be there." Number 8. Amber sobbing as she recalled Johnny penetrating her. Amber Heard sobbed uncontrollably on the stand last Thursday as she recounted in graphic detail how Johnny Depp penetrated her with an alcohol bottle during a fight in Australia in 2015. She claimed that as soon as they had arrived in Australia, she felt that something was off with her new husband because he seemed to have lost tons of weight and immediately propositioned her to do substances with him, even though he was supposed to be sober at the time. Amber recounted that the climax of the fight was when Johnny started drinking from a bottle and taunted her with it, daring her to take it from him. She said she was able to grab the bottle and she smashed it on the floor between them. Depp chased Heard throughout the house, she said, throwing wine glasses and pummeling bottles into the wall behind her, she said. He held her by the throat, punched her in the face, and falsely accused her of infidelity with other actors she had worked with, Heard testified. She then said that he had penetrated her with a bottle, and as she recounted this, Amber began to sob on the stand. Heard said she isn't sure how she got off the countertop, but the next thing she remembers is getting to the bathroom and retching. Number 7. Recounting the aftermath of Australia fight. After speaking about the previous story, Amber was able to momentarily collect herself on the stand before continuing on. She said that they eventually went to sleep, but when she woke up, it was to a horror show. Amber said that she found bizarre messages written on the walls, a bathroom mirror, and a lampshade on the floor that appeared to be incoherent, all with Johnny's own blood. She also found that Johnny Depp had his finger partially severed. As he was taken to the hospital to reattach it, Amber flew back to LA. Now, back on the stand, she began crying again as she recounted her worry for Johnny at the time. "I felt destroyed, like my heart was broken. I didn't know what to do. I felt if I left him in Australia, he might die, because that was certainly the trajectory he was on." Number 6. Crying in reaction to an audio recording. Amber appeared in heavy distress while on the stand on Tuesday as she was played an audio recording of her in a phone call with her ex-husband. In the audio itself, Amber is also crying and saying, "You're killing me," after Depp said he wanted to leave. The audio played for the jury was recorded in the car outside of Depp's studio, in which the couple can be heard arguing. The audio recording began with Depp saying, "I'm really sick of this argument," and Heard apologizes after. Heard began crying in the audio saying, "Can we please have a normal argument, just even a normal conversation, like a normal argument, and for the last hour I've been begging you to please just leave it at that. Let's go on with our night. I would have been able to come with you, we would have been able to let it go in a few minutes." Tearfully, she continued saying, "It would have been fine if we let ourselves just have normal arguments. Please, you're killing me, you're killing me, you're killing me." Number 5. Tokyo Mordecai harm premiere. Still on the stand, Amber recounts the time that she accompanied Johnny to the premiere of his film Mordecai. She states that she had just begun to pick out her wedding dress when she decided to come along. She began to break down crying on the stand as she recalls another incident of harm after Johnny had consumed illegal substances and begun hitting her. She recalls having to pretend like everything was alright while at the premiere, but while sobbing she said that she felt it was all a lie. Number 4. Witnessing an alleged affair. Only a few days ago, Joshua Drew, an ex-husband of Amber's friend, said that he heard that Amber had had an affair with Elon Musk and Cara Delevingne. The testimony, although not used in the recent defamation trial, was used in the libel trial in 2020, and he alleged that a friend witnessed Amber have an affair with the two high-profile individuals while still in a relationship with Johnny Depp. In 2020, she became extremely emotional despite not being on the stand or being questioned. Although, to be fair, Elon Musk has denied these claims, stating, "Cara and I are friends, but we've never been intimate." She would confirm this. He also continued to push that his relationship with Amber only began after she was separated from Johnny. Number 3. When asked about the impact of the lawsuits. While on the stand, Amber was asked by her lawyer about the emotional impact that Johnny Depp's 3 counterclaims statements have had on her. She begins to speak normally before it devolves into tears, and Amber is pushing herself to speak despite continually crying. She stated that she narrowly survived the ordeal and that it's trauma that she has to live with every day and likely for the rest of her life. She also states, "I have a baby, I want to move on," when speaking about how she wishes she didn't have to keep recounting her relationship with Johnny. Number 2. Amber's makeup artist takes the stand. While not outright sobbing, Amber can be seen looking emotional and visibly upset as her makeup artist testified that she had helped the actress cover up a bruised face and split lip after an alleged fight with Johnny in 2015. We've covered the discoloration, the bruises, with a slightly heavier concealer, one that has a little more undertone, which I normally don't use on Amber, but peach cancels blue, so I did that under the eyes. Amber can be seen wiping her eyes with a tissue, although she did not outright cry this time. Number 1. Lawyers calling her testimony a performance. After Amber gave another day of testimony in the court wherein she recounted her entire relationship with Johnny Depp and detailed the alleged harm that took place, Johnny's lawyers labeled it as the performance of her life, while Johnny can be seen laughing and giggling throughout her testimony. Amber has sobbed and cried multiple times, making it seem like Johnny isn't taking the case he brought against her seriously, and that Amber is faking it by acting too melodramatic. A spokesperson for Johnny stated, "While Miss Heard's stories have continued to grow new and convenient details, Mr. Depp's recollections have remained exactly the same throughout the 6 painful years since her first allegations were made. The truth is the same no matter the environment in which it has been presented."